So what I'll try to do, just to get an idea for a song down, and I don't know, I may throw this away, I may keep it, I may turn it into a song, but now what I want to do is I want to get into a second groove. So what I've found is basically from section A to section B in any song, I've established one riff, I've established a key center, which is A, and I've established that that's kind of whatever this is the norm. So now I have to contradict this in some way for the second section, which is what I do in every song, is either build on it, bring in more instruments, redefine it, or contradict it in some way. So now I've got to figure out what to write. I don't know what to write. So they say, when you don't know what to write, write something. So at least you know what not to write. And that's like a screenwriting thing. So even if it sucks, section B, I've got this, so check this out. Here is the B section drums. This is what I've got right. So I'm going to loop that 4 times, and I'm going to try to find something to play over that. It doesn't have as many double kicks. It's a little bit looser sounding, and it's got a little more ghost notes with the snare. And so what I'm going to do is I'm in A, and then I go to G, then D, and then A major. So I'm going to go back to the A minor. It's another A chord with the 3rd in the bottom. And then I like that sound from A to A major. So I'm just going to make that the riff. All right, here we go. So that's what I got. So that's section B. I don't have this thing even. It was recording right there. There's the proof. So that's what I just did. I did that. I may be peaking a little bit. It doesn't matter because this is just a demo. So I'm going to go into the next part of the thing, which I found just another thing. Again, these are total presets mostly from Gene Hoglan that I have dragged down and are putting in straight into the timeline. So this is the next piece of, this is the next drum thing. So that's the loop. So I'm going to see if I can do something with that. So I did that 4 times, and I've got an idea just to make the next part interesting. I'm going to try to move some chords around a little bit. So I was going back and forth between 2 chords and with a key center of A. Now I'm going to move it around a little bit. I'm going to change my key center. I'm going to go to the 4th, which is E. So I'll go E minor. I was in minor, major. So I'm going to just play some chords, some standard chords. So E minor with the 7th. So A, A7, suspended 4th. Resolves, then C, then G. So we've heard these chords before. What I haven't done, so that's another thing when writing a song. Each new section, how do you change up the harmonic rhythm? The harmonic rhythm is the speed of the chords. So I had 2 chords going back and forth, now I've got 4 chords. So that's going to make us interested in the music. It's just kind of what happens. So, so I'm going to play that. I'll try to do some more. It's like a muted, arpeggiated pattern that's going to be probably not perfect, but we'll get the idea. So let me just record the next part of the song. Oh, All right, so that's section 3. And I'm going to record the very next section, which is basically, I'm going to go right back to the top and just play that out. So here goes that. And then we're going to go into some melodies, and then we're going to move forward. So back to the top. So I'm going to go back to this. Big finish. So I've got like a 2-minute, 40-second song here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some melodies on top of this thing, and we're going to listen to that. So what I'll usually do is I'll loop something, and this is how I work on sections with by myself, or when I later on, as you see the whole process, when I sit with Gene Hoglan in the studio with an actual real drummer. I'll loop sections, or I'll have the drummer or anybody that's in a band, they'll just go over a section over and over until they find something that starts making their ears excited. So I had an idea for a melody here. Let me just play in input-only mode and see if I can just kind of mess around with an idea. So, that's kind of a cool idea. So I'm just going to play it at the top, and I'm going to go over it a few times, and then I'll have it there just so I don't forget it. And that's the most important part about this process, is that I didn't play everything perfectly. My guitar's mostly in tune, and the most important idea is that Pro Tools at this point is not for me a mixing thing. It is not really a big recording thing. Right now it is a notebook for me to record my ideas. So that's how I treat it right now, as a notebook. And it doesn't have to be more than this. Basically, I want to get a song idea done in an hour, or less than an hour, and then come back to it later on, and I'll tell you about that next step. Here we go. So we're going from the top. So maybe I won't play the first one. I'll just listen to this great music. All right. The next section. So for the next section, again, how do I contradict that rhythm and do something that's simple? I mean, I don't know what that melody is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be like an instrumental guitar song, or I'm going to sing over that stuff. But I want to have an idea of what just to make this song a little bit more personal, just to give it a little bit more life, put a melody on top of it. Maybe that'll be a background melody, and maybe there'll be vocals and like a death metal voice or something like that. I don't know, but I like to have melody. And normally with Dethklok stuff, when writing Dethklok music, there's no melody in the vocal. It's almost like rapping. It's almost like a guttural bark. And I like music with melody in it, and that's what I grew up listening to ELO and David Bowie and the Beatles and stuff like that. So I want melody really badly in music. So I try to sneak it in with guitar melodies all the time. So that's another part that hopefully will make this a little bit more personal. So. So let me try something. I'm going to try to do something and just repeat it. If I like it, I repeat it. So here's the next part. Here we go. that's okay. So that's just another part. That's another idea. So that's something that sounds different than the first one. I have a little more, you can even see in the waveform there, down around here, that there are a little bit more breaks in it. It just looks different than the previous wave. Sometimes that's an important way to write music. How does that look different than the previous section? So I had that. So I went from minor to major. So it's like a mix from almost like a Dorian to a, just to a major. It's like a minor third to the suspended fourth. And so the next part is that E minor thing. So you know what I like sometimes, and this is something that Paul McCartney does, is he just goes up a scale. He just goes up a scale and leaves it there. And that always sounds good. And you can do that with bass, you can do that with a melody. But I'm going to try that with this. So I'm going to have this next part just be, since I had a little bit more stops and a little bit more syncopated stuff in the last one, I'm just going to go legato on this part. So here we go from staccato to legato. Let's see what this sounds like. Hopefully.